So, good morning everyone. I'm Abel Serrano. I work as an assistant researcher in the Universidad Complutense of Madrid. We are currently researching on wikis, on communities. And we have developed WikiChron. It's a web tool to visualize collaboration in wikis. And it's been my work for the last 7 months. And it's the first time I presented in public, so I hope you like it. So first of all, what is WikiChron for? WikiChron is a web application that helps you to visualize metrics, data of your wikis, the history data. And it facilitates the analysis and research on the evolution of wikis or a set of wikis. So let's go in. It is at wikicron.science. It's online. And here we see a tab with wikis, a lot of wikis. They are mostly from Wikia. It's a hosting service. But all MediaWiki wikis are supported. I have added the Esperanto dictionary as an example. I think it's over here. Here. And first of all, we need some wikis to select. They have been processed and uploaded. So we're going to select 2 wikis, the Lego French and Lego Dutch wikis. They are both big wikis, very active wikis, and they have a large community. But and they are about the same topic, right? So we might think that they have a similar behavior and similar numbers. We want to compare their activity, so we have to go to metrics and select some metrics of articles. We are gonna focus on content, so because we have pages and content pages are articles, and edits, total edits in articles, total edits in articles, press compare. So here we have some graphs. They are time series, and they start from the creation of the wiki. So if we see this line, we have this data, this number of articles since from the 30 months since the wiki was created. So the Dutch Lego wiki started with more articles. It has 165 articles in 30 months since the creation of the wiki. French wiki is going a little bit below in the same time frame, right? So this is the 30 months since the creation of French wiki, and it has only 56 articles, which is 3 times less. But as we see here in these graphs, we can see the evolution of these wikis are differing, they are changing through time, and the French wiki is going with a steeper upwards growth. So we see that since I think it's month 44, month 33, they have a different growth. So the French wiki, Lego wiki, is going more productive. It has more articles, it has more edits, and we can see these months from 40 months until 100 months is becoming a much more productive wiki. They are generating more content. So we might think that the French people are more people, or maybe they like more Lego game. So we might think that there are more users editing the wiki or more active users, and then we have to select some metrics about users. So I'll go to users, total users, okay. Okay, maybe you are trying to visualize a large wiki, and it takes some time if you are using it at the same time. So again, I select users, total users. Okay, so as I said, maybe there are more number of French wikis, Wikipedians, wiki users, but it is not the case because there are much more French Dutch Wikipedians, wiki users, and also more registered users and more anonymous users. So it is not that there are more users that they write in French, but there are less users that are editing, they are making more content, so they are more productive. If I select edits in articles, here we have much more edits in articles in the French wiki, but the number of users in these months is going up also in both, and is even is much it's more or less the same slope for both wikis. So to visualize the productivity of the wikis, of the wiki users, we have added some metrics about distribution of work, of participation, we say, and they are belonging to this list. First, we have the Gini coefficient. It is a well-known coefficient to measure the distribution of wealth in a society, and it's also used to measure the distribution of work in a community, like these communities like wikis. And we're going to select that, and also there is a 10 to 90 ratio. The 10 to 90 ratio is a ratio which divides the amount of work of the top 10% contributors by the 90% contributors. So it's a number who measures the difference between the top 10%, what the top contributors make, against the other 90%. So if we press compare, it takes some time because it has to calculate all these metrics. So let's remove this, and we'll have the Gini coefficient and 10 to 90 ratio. The Gini coefficient goes from 0 to 1, and when it's close to 0, it means that the community is perfectly equal, like everybody does the same amount of work. And if it's close to 1, it means that there are few people doing the most of the work. So here we see that the French community it's becoming much more unequal. So less people are doing close to 1, like less people are doing most of the work. They're very unequal community. They have more work than the other less work contributors. And well, it's clear if we see this metric 10 to 90 ratio, because it means that here we have 120 times more work made by the top 10% contributors than the other 90 contributors, remaining 90%. And both are unequal wikis, but definitely the French one, it has less users doing much more work because they are more productive. And we can conclude with this analysis that French wiki has less users, but they are like more involved and they are doing much more work. But also the Dutch wiki has an equal distribution. So the problem of these graphs is that they can be misleading because we have a scale that fits to the bigger one. So here we have this axis, but this looks like flat almost, right? So if we want to see the difference, here we see that actually the wiki goes down at some point. So it means that at some point there are less concentration of work, or maybe there is less work. Because if we again see this graph, edits in articles, we see that more or less at the same point it goes down. The number of edits in articles goes down as well. So it looks like these wikis need some people very involved and doing a lot of work than the other users that maybe they still are contributing are not such, they are not that productive. So let's go back to the presentation. The main features of WikiChron is to have a web tool and supports comparing several wikis at a time, because we haven't seen any other tool that allows to visualize in the same graphs and in the same different metrics and selection of wikis in one screen, all the data. And we want it to allow any MediaWiki wiki, also Wikimedia projects. And we have added a lot of metrics, and we are still planning to add more. So, talking about the coming features, we want to add a lot of metrics, a lot of wikis, and we need to have a new UI, a new design to be able to select, search and filter a lot of them. And we also want to add URL with parameters so people can share their analysis. And we want to be able to have a feature that people can just enter the link and the tool will download the data, process the data, and add to the tool directly from the web tool. And finally, we want to add some metrics about single wikis, like when you want to only analyze one wiki, the evolution of one wiki. We want to have metrics only for one wiki. So the conclusions is that WikiChron can help to visualize data, to visualize the evolution of the wikis, but it doesn't provide you an answer of what that data means, because data doesn't explain itself, right? So you still need to go deeper in the community, in the activity, look what is the reason or what happened. Maybe it's a fun movie wiki and it has ended the movies, or it might depend, right? So it doesn't give you an answer, but it can help you to find questions or to compare with different evolution. and but hopefully we want one day to have a set of variables, metrics, and numbers that can tell you how is your community going, how is the health of their wiki, but is at least far right now. So we are working in the Universidad Complutense of Madrid within the Gracia group, research group. We are developing WikiChron. It's fully open source. It's in GitHub. You have documentation and source code there. And the address is here, wikichron.science. Well, you can mail me or just we can talk right now here. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions.
So, hi, I'm Aaron from the Wikimedia Foundation. So, I'm curious, like when you look at this tool, what is it for your research group? You know, is it like a novel technology or something like that? I guess I'm asking because, so in the Wikimedia space, we have a thing called Wikistats, which regretfully you can't just upload a wiki to, but it can handle a much bigger wiki and it has many more statistics and but can do comparisons and that sort of stuff. So I'm guessing, like, how do you see this technology positioned from like a research perspective?
Okay. Right now we are focusing on wikis just because there are a very wide variety of wikis and a very wide variety of topics. So, you know, because Wikimedia projects are kind of big and successful, but we don't know if we can...
I said some of them, like Wikiversity, totally didn't work. And Wiktionaries are kind of medium, and Wikisource is, you know, picking up steam in some places and not in others.
Yeah, we were looking closer to Wikia just because we have a very wide variety, and we want to know if... We know there has been some research on Wikipedia, but or some Wikipedia projects, but we want to know if we can generalize the conclusions to all kind of wikis. I have seen some of the stats Wikimedia provides, and I think they are focusing on what the Wikimedia Foundation needs, like more newcomers or more contributors or stability. We are actually more focusing on like the sustainability, the growth of a community, but not depending on if it's a dictionary or... It's more like, okay, if people come here and have free time, what they do. I mean, I think at some point it has to converge at some point. But right now we are focusing more in a very wide variety of wikis and metrics more about distribution of work, rather than new contributors, how long they spend on. So I don't know. At some point it's going to. I would like to have a dashboard with indicators and to work that for any wiki. Any other question? Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was really helpful to include the inequality metrics too, and like Aaron, I was thinking that would be a nice thing to suggest for Wikistats. But I was wondering, did you include some kind of threshold for eliminating people who aren't active, or is that just all users?
Okay. Yeah, we haven't thought about that. We have removed all the bot activity because we think that can make noise, because we want also only human activity, right? But we haven't thought to remove the activity of... You mean like less contribute, or maybe people who just created an account 10 years ago, and so what, you know?
That's what I was thinking, because Wikistats also has active, well, not just Wikistats, but everything I've seen that does statistics on wikis has some kind of threshold for active users that isn't really standardized, which I think is interesting. There are different thresholds which make interpreting difficult.
We don't have a threshold for calculating the distribution of work metrics, but it's like a minimal number of users to make sense of these metrics, but not like, it's an interesting point. We also know that these metrics are very aggregated. Like if you have a Gini coefficient from the last 20 years, maybe the man who started and make the first 10,000 wiki pages, it will have a very big coefficient, but maybe it's not the real scenario from the last year, right? So we're thinking to have like 3-month statistics, only this 3-month distribution. But it's very interesting, the active users. It's also complex to know, because how do you know it's an active user? It's because has made one edit in the last month? I don't know, maybe.
Right, it's tricky.
Okay, any other question?
Yeah, I'm Nicolas from France. How do we install, thanks for this very great tool, how do we install this tool?
It's a Python web tool. I mean, it's developed in Python, but it has a web interface. Like, so you install it locally, and then you can use it locally, or you can use it with a domain and with an external port. So yeah, that's explained in the repo.
In GitHub, it's explained in
yes.
Yeah, okay.
I hope it's clear enough, because I don't know more people than is installing it and developing it. So if you have any problem, just open an issue or mail us. So, I mean, we want also people to see, work around, hack around.
I will try.
Thank you. Yes.
So, sorry, I was just realizing that I think it would be really interesting to know what, say, the people who are managing WikiWikis, or who are taking on that role of community manager in a wiki, like when they look at the stats inside of WikiChron, what do they see? And so, like, for example, when there's a shift in the Gini coefficient, can they tell you a story? Does that help them think about some things that are to do with their community health? Have you done any user studies? Had people look at this and see what they thought?
We haven't. We are using it for research right now.
Right.
But yes, again, at some point it would be useful to have also a user perspective and what they want to look for, what they want to find. So yeah, that's interesting, because we are using wikis. We have investigated. So people who want to see their own wiki has to download and process the data. So that's also a barrier that has to cross. At some point, again, one interesting feature is to have the ability to just write the URL and the tool can do everything for you. Thank you, because we have to do this as well. Okay.
This is just based in dumps, right? There's no actual real-time component. You have to keep uploading new dumps, maybe?
Yes. Yes, it's more about the history dump than a real time analysis. Again, at some point, if we have a dashboard, we would like to have an extension of the MediaWiki and get data into it. But not at this moment.
It's complicated.
Okay, so thank you again.
Thank you.